I think what sets SSA apart when it comes to food service design is really the things that differentiate us from other food service design consultants. And primarily, I think it's our level of creativity. And when we talk about creativity, we're not just talking about, coming up with very unique, one-of-a-kind things. We also talk about the creativity that goes into our document set and the amount of detailed data that we actually put into our document set. And that is really just a result of spending time with the client, listening to the client's team, understanding what their needs are, what their challenges have been in the past, and understanding too what some of their successes have been, and kind of, no pun, but baking all of that into our design documents, allow us to create a set of plans and specifications that will help the client to really enhance their operation. There are times on projects where we're challenged with coming up with solutions, and sometimes there's a fine balance between what an owner or developer is willing to invest into a project and perhaps what their operator needs. We had a particular project in which the ownership group was very, very well known, extremely successful, very wealthy. And the operator happened to be a Michelin star James Beard chef who had really grand ideas and an approach to how they saw the operation running. Unfortunately, the approach that they had really accelerated the cost of the project to the point that the developer said, hey, listen, we have got to figure out a way to cut costs. And sometimes when we're working with operators, they don't always contemplate what the cost of things are going to be, but they don't also contemplate what the cost to operate might be. And in this particular project, we had the operators, the Michelin star chef's vision was to have numerous solid fuel live cooking action stations. And one of the ripple effects of that was it materially impacted the mechanical system, what we all know as the HVAC system. It drove the cost of that system very, very high, and it turned out to be a huge portion of the project. Additionally, all of those kind of action stations required labor resources. Perhaps 2 people cooking, 2 people running finished food, 2 people resupplying. So when we had maybe 6 stations that required 6 people, all of a sudden, you're adding 36 FTEs on top of an operation that's already going to be challenged for capital without even getting into what are the operational costs. So we had come up with a very unique idea, one-of-a-kind solution that was this giant 2-story rotisserie that I had sketched to go in between 2 of the building columns. It was 2 stories tall. The space that the project was in was a couple of floors, so you could access this from one floor or the other. Sketched it up, shared it with the client, the operator, who was like thrilled with the idea of having something really one of a kind that would be his own. And then we shared it with the client. And when we shared it with the client, of course, the first question is, well, what is all of this going to cost? This is super grand. But so we went back and had it all costed out and priced out. And the unit itself that we designed was about $250,000. It was just a little under $250,000. But the savings associated with removing all of those other live stations and the ventilation that those live stations required allowed us to cut a couple of $1 million off the project. So now we've created this incredibly efficient, useful tool, one of a kind, iconic piece that everybody is going to walk up in front of and take their picture with this thing in the backdrop. But we created a tool that was a solution to solve a big challenge that we had, that the project was just inflated to a point that the developer was just not willing to invest that kind of money in it. So on all levels, we became a hero with just a very creative design solution. And it's those kinds of solutions that really differentiates SSA from the rest of the pack.